Welcome to another video of the Alalibo Academy, Educating the Global Learner. In this video, we are looking at the concept of neoconservatism, and we're going to be answering the question, what is neoconservatism? For context, neoconservatism is a political ideology that was floated in the United States. It was floated in the 1960s, to be specific. Ironically, it was floated by liberals who were disenchanted by the foreign policy posture of their party. And they believed that that posture was not conservative enough, and so they decided to float this political ideology. And it's been around for decades and has evolved over time, and not just in the United States, but around the world, where political systems are now being influenced by this ideology of neoconservatism. And so what exactly is neoconservatism? Well, there are four main elements to this ideology. The first one is the maintenance of status quo. The maintenance of status quo. And here they're saying the status quo is fine. We don't need to change the status quo. Society is fine just the way it is. And if there needs to be a change to the status quo, it has to be incremental. It has to be incremental. It cannot be aggressive to overwhelm, the status quo. It has to be incremental. That way, it can be checked, it can be monitored, it can be restricted if need be, etc. Right? So this is a core aspect of this ideology, maintenance of the status quo. So let's take an example of immigration. So on the question of immigration, a government that believes in this political ideology will make sure that the numbers are contained, right? So immigration is contained, and that way there's not a drastic demographic shift, because we know demographic shift does impact social norms and policies, and over a period of time can impact the political structure as well and leadership, especially in a democracy where majority rules. And so they're aware of that. And so they want to make sure it's contained and the numbers are just manageable. And in the spirit of, again, we don't need to change. We don't need to bring other influences to impact our way of life, etc. So the maintenance of the status quo is key. It's a core aspect of neoconservatism. And along those same lines, then, they are resistant to change, right? And change, just in general, is very difficult. One of the most difficult phenomena of human endeavor, because we just don't know what is on the other side of the change. We just don't know. And so we tend to stick with what we know. And that's sort of the guiding principle of neoconservatism. Let's keep it the way it is. We are fine just the way it is, and let's not change things drastically. They know that change will come, but it does not have to be drastic. All right. So the other component of this ideology is the promotion of democracy. And this is a very key aspect of it, and this is what we call the core element of this ideology. And in promotion of democracy is done on two levels. The first level is internal, right? Internal promotion within the borders, and overseas or abroad, right? Or abroad, overseas or abroad. Right, so the promotion of democracy then also comes in the form of free market. They promote free markets because they believe that is one of the major mainstays of democracy, and also one of the mainstays of the concept of capitalism. Right, so in free market then, here we have free enterprise. And the right of citizens to engage in economic activities, buying and selling and consuming and so forth. And when that happens, they believe that the economy is supported, the economy is enhanced, and the economy becomes sustainable. And of course, that also helps with the GDP of the country. Right, so the promotion of democracy within is very, very key to this ideology, and speaks to its focus on capitalism and ensuring that citizens have the economic freedom to engage in economic activities. Now, the promotion of democracy overseas actually ties in with the fourth point here, which is the exertion of foreign presence. And this ideology likes to exert foreign presence in the spirit of we are the police of the world, and we have many examples of this, right? So here then, exerting foreign presence could come in the form of exporting democracy to countries where there is authoritarianism, there is a military government or communism, dictatorships, those sort of things. And we see examples of wars that have been started as a form of foreign policy in Afghanistan, for example, started by Republican neoconservative administration in 2001, just ended in 2021, the longest war fought by the United States. But also we go back to the 1950s, in 1955 to be precise, with the Vietnam War, or the Second Indochina War, that was also started by a conservative, neoconservative regime or administration, thinking along those lines of conservatism, even though neoconservatism as an ideology hadn't been floated then, but nevertheless still along those lines. So we see evidence of that. And the idea here then is to exert pressure on these governments to adopt democratic ways, to adopt democratic principles, and to begin to ensure to open up their market for opportunity, for foreign opportunities, for investments, etc. That way, their citizens can have opportunities to really engage in economic activities and enjoy the full benefits of citizenship as free citizens. So neoconservatism has evolved over time and has had tremendous impact on political landscapes around the world. And once again, just to recap, the main elements are the maintenance of the status quo, the resistance to change, and if change must come, it has to be incremental, and the promotion of democracy within and outside the borders of the country, and specifically targeting authoritarian regimes, military regimes, communist regimes, etc., and the exertion of foreign presence with the mentality that we are the police of the world, and we can go around the world and exert our influence. I'll just give examples of two wars. Even if we had to go back to the Iraqi war as well, that was started in 2003, based on this notion that the dictatorship has to be confronted in that country. So we begin to get a sense of what neoconservatism really means, looking at these four key elements of the ideology. Okay, so I hope this is helpful. If this video was helpful to you, please share widely, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And while subscribing, hit the notification button to let you know of the next great educational video that we'll be putting up. Thank you.